One of the greatest portrayals of masculinity has to be played by Gerard Butler in the film 300, as he stars in this movie playing King Leonidas of the Mighty 300. This film right here, a fantastic portrayal of the different aspects of masculinity that you and I living the modern male human experience can put into great use ourselves. It is a guide, and at the very same time, it is a warning of how and how not to do true masculinity and manhood. Right off the bat, we see in the beginning of this film, I mean, and this is 480 BC, so this is way back in the day, a completely different world with completely different customs and traditions. This is a world with no apps and no Wi Fi. Okay? This is just human beings still wrestling with the relentless attack of nature on human beings, how hard it is for us to just survive, just to make it to tomorrow, successfully live out each day. That is still the prime name of the game. And in Spartan culture, they were definitely thriving in the way that they did this. Historically speaking, such a small tribe, right? Sparta is not a very big country, yet one of the most feared Greek states and renowned across Greece for their combat prowess. That is just what you think of. You know, if you can think back to history class, I mean, for me, that's a little bit too long ago. This film, one of my favorite movies of all time, and of course, one of the best portrayals of, just this conversation and these discussions of, well, what is masculinity? How is a man, to be as masculine as possible? Using Spartan traditions and upbringing, it is absolutely brutal. I don't think bringing that back is the way. I'm not so sure. We just start throwing all of our preschoolers and kindergartners, first graders, and second graders in constant strife and physical combat with one another every single day, having them just absolutely pummel each other, just to see who rises to the top. And then we anoint these boys to go. You guys are gonna be fantastic in the army. Okay, I don't think that process is conducive to the healthiest and the most successful and the most positive human male experience. I do have to say, because of the way that they train, what I want you to see right off the bat is the sacrificial nature of your hopes and dreams. So, this is something that just cannot be avoided when you are serious about living your best life. This ties into self-improvement, this ties into self-discovery, this ties into self-actualization, this ties into, just becoming successful. This absolutely ties into you just enjoying your life more, brother. It really does come down to what you really want, because what you truly want is going to take up so much room. Most likely, it will take up all of your effort and your energy to the point you'll have a little bit of a surplus. Work life balance is absolutely a thing. R&R, rest and relaxation, is absolutely a thing. Recovery, vacations, weekends, just taking some time off. But that is absolutely not the majority of your life. This is if you're even willing to accept what you really want. And if you know it, right? You've said it and you mean it. You mean it when you say you want that. The body, the financial freedom, the assets, the properties, okay? Just the vision of the business, the company, this career pathway, this venture, this pursuit, whatever kind of talent or skill or hobby you'd like to foster and push it as far as you possibly can. See, this is what I mean. I'm sure you can already see it in my words. For you to make it as great as possible, which is you. You're the man doing it. So that's going to be you becoming as great as possible. It's just very difficult to maintain all these other aspects of your life that may they may be. I'll explain it like this, just to kind of simplify. They're very comfortable to do and partake. They're a bit uncomfortable to let go of. I am not recommending, I am not saying the solution for young American boys today in 2026 is to bring back the Spartan way. No. It, was it effective? Yes. However, was the methodology inhumane? you know, Excessively brutal and barbaric? Yeah. Also, yes. So that's why I believe we should, take the value. We should take the lessons from what you see as the film 300 opens up, and really, really helps us as the audience understand the foundation of how the events of the rest of the film are even able to take place. What is the foundation that this all comes from, that they're building upon? It is built upon sacrifice. Brother, this is really crazy stuff right here. There is something called the masculine rite of passage, and it's not really existent anymore today. I believe it's been decades and decades and decades where it's not, it hasn't vanished. It has not, disappeared into the ether to be lost forever. It's just, it is up to the individual man to find it. Okay? It's all on you in your free time to, you know, basically curate your own rite of passage, which is AKA the process. That's what this is very commonly known, especially on the internet. This is also known as, your journey. Many, especially in the self-improvement space, many people also call this the great marathon, because it requires you, to traverse such a tremendous distance. You're gonna need so much endurance. You got to be able to keep up. Okay, stay on pace, keep that rhythm. The most common target goal is daily. I mean, this is not to say all hours of the day every single day, but it is to say that you are doing something intentional every single day to get a little bit closer to what you really want out of life. For these Spartan boys at this age, they're already giving everything. You okay? When you want to talk about sacrifice, brother, it's the tender age of something like 7, 8, 9, something like that. they leave home. It's actually a pretty. We see Leonidas's son live like a. Well, I mean, he's royal, so maybe this is a little bit more of a silver spoon than your average Spartan boy. But what we see him do is right run around, cause mischief. He plays with his mom. He plays with other kids in the neighborhood. Right? He's just being a baby boy. And what was it? It was one of the members of the Senate or the Spartan Council. You remember when he was having that conversation with the Queen, his mother. He was saying, "Oh, he's almost there. He starts his training next year. That's going to be a tough time for you." And what does the Queen say? A Spartan woman raised in Sparta herself, and also, the queen of the people, the wife of King Leonidas. So perhaps out of all women, she would most understand the words she is about to utter. And she goes, yeah, it will be hard for him and me, for both of us. But it is so necessary. Uh, you remember the training, bro? They are literally beating the crap. They are beating each other within an inch of their lives. It's a vetting process. It's to kind of cull the frail, fragile, and weak, so that what's left are the elite. These. Oh, okay. So physically speaking, mentally speaking, right? These boys right here, they're worth the investment. Okay, they will move on. These should be the males that make excellent Spartan warriors. This is why the methodology, I just it just would not fit these modern times. It's unnecessary. There's absolutely no reason we would just have, like, hypothetically speaking, brother, tomorrow to just have young boys start beating the crap out of each other and just training this intensively. But the notion that I'm going to have to give this everything, the idea that I'm going to have to give this all of myself, I'm going to have to pour every drop of blood, sweat, and tears into this in order to be great for the Spartans. That was for the good of Sparta. That's where all of this is being funneled into: the wealth, health, prosperity, and flourishment of the country. Especially back in that day, the fighting force is everything. This is it's actually pretty difficult for you and me to imagine, simply because we are 21st century modern male human beings. All right, the the big revolutions, for you and me, brother, are virtual. They are technological. They are digital. For them, that was still very much a survival is everything. It's just a world that is living day by day. Everything is being placed on this premise of chaos and volatility. Who knows? Who knows who could show up at the gates tomorrow to try and take over, to try and kill everyone, enslave this small country of Sparta. So that's why the fighting force is the really the backbone of these ancient Greek civilizations. We are only going to be able to progress our traditions and our culture, okay, our society, just allowing time to grow these seeds of, right, knowledge and industry, and the politics, the sociology of it. That is not possible if you do not, at the very least, have a military force capable of protecting its citizens, its populace. So the reason why these boys are going through such grueling training is evident, that in the fact that you could lose your entire nation within days, depending on who decided to invade you, depending on who simply, because they felt so compelled to, because for whatever reason, on another part of the world, with a whole different, just a whole different kind of resource and upbringing that would fuel their own nation to be able to create just a mass, these enormous, you know, navies and armies. That is the core of the story of 300. That actually happened. This is the Persian army right here, which was the invading force. One of the biggest the world had ever seen up until that time. It was about 100 to 300,000 strong. That's how many soldiers were in within this invading force. I know that doesn't sound very big, but right, for 480 BC, that is absurd. It's horrifying. It's for them. This is unimaginably massive. How is that possible? See, I want you to see, when you have such a heavy price, a price that I do not believe modern men need to pay. Not like this, though. We have our own. Make no mistake, we absolutely have our own, and I'm gonna try to take it there. But for them, it's life and death. This is everything. Leonidas is a great king in the way that he's able to hold substantial vision, foresight. He's able to see, okay, this is such a threat. The size of this enemy is so vast. This is no longer just about Spartan prosperity and Spartan peace. All of Greece is at stake now because of just how many of them there are. So it's not even do we want to participate? Like, oh, just let the other yeah, their rivals, the Athenians, Athens and something along the lines of Athens and Sparta hated each other historically, big rivals. And I mean, there were so many of these individual Greek states, and it's like, oh, hey, let them take care of it. We'll only you know engage if they make it to our nation lines. Leonidas uh, was kind of thinking, not only is this going to take all of us, but we absolutely need to give this everything we got. The size of this threat is just too dangerous. This is to the likes of something which we have never seen before. And so he comes up with the idea of the 300 stand at Thermopylae. The Thermopylae being the location of the hot gates. This extremely narrow canyon that Leonidas came up with. If we just meet them there, they can try. They can try and run us over, but through that bottleneck, Leonidas was so confident, right, in the combat capabilities, okay, of his fellow Spartan men. He was willing to go out knowing, yeah, we're probably all going to die, but not without holding this long enough that we can show, okay, the rest of Greece, unity is needed and victory is very possible. See, this is what I mean, bro. That's not possible. You can't have this unless you've had men who have been born and raised, bred throughout their lives to be killing machines. This is what I mean, bro. That's like go to the gym, like lift. No, for real, bro. Lift, build that physique, but it's not like that. Nowadays. So this is why the the usefulness for you and me is you'll never be able to have everything that you want without giving up what is necessary to have it. Because at the end of the day, no matter what it is that you want to do, you might just, maybe you're very logical, bro, and you've done your due diligence and you've calculated that this career pathway is by far, right now in the year 2026, by far, this is the most lucrative way for me to go. It doesn't have to necessarily, be a passion. It's just, wow, I went over this with AI. I spoke to experts about it. This is a clear, this is the, just the best pathway to become a millionaire. Okay, it could be something like that, or it could be something along the lines of, no, it's got nothing to do with money. I want to make wonderful music. you know I just want to be a content creator. This is the kind of content I want to make, and I want to try to make it big with this. you know I well, professional sports is definitely a tough one, but I mean, hey, if that's where you're really trying to go, it's a physical pursuit, some sort of sport, some sort of martial arts, some kind of physical competition. Okay, that if you really, really, make it into the top ranks and you do really well, you can absolutely, right, make a career out of that. Anything you choose, because you are asking for so much, because, brother, no man is going to decide upon a pursuit and think to himself, I'd like to do this kind of well. It's very, it's just rare that, uh, okay, you have this great marathon and your goal is to just run a quarter of it. Dreams, hopes, these outcomes, these results, whenever they're in the conversation, if you feel me on this, do men not always say, I'm going to make it? That's why I want to do this, because I will be financially free. I will make this business successful. I will build this company. I will make this online brand successful. Saying that automatically incurs all of these debts that you have to pay. It's unavoidable. It's not possible not to pay them. And that's what makes just the nature of the 21st century game so difficult. It takes time. It takes untold amounts of, for some people it happens faster, some people it happens slower, but it takes untold amounts of time, effort, energy, just consistency, perseverance, determination. And I'll say one more, endurance. What do all of these, everything I kind of just quick fired several right there. What do all of them have in common? You must continue. You have to keep going. For Spartans, that is, they dedicate their entire lives to this. Right? We see. I mean, the movie does a great job at establishing all of this from yay high, formative years, single digits. They Spartan boys start long before puberty. From such a young age, they are broken into the way of the Spartan warrior. It's I mean, understandable, because the way that we are as human beings, when you're a kid, right, you're a sponge. And that's a very common way I've always heard it explained. You absorb everything, absolutely, the good and the bad, and so a child is at their most impressionable, malleable, teachable. And so it's being drilled into their mind, into their heart, into their soul so deeply at such an early age. Everything you do, the air you breathe, how you think, how you are going to live from here on out is for the good of Sparta. Okay? Right? Sparta, this kind of representation, this, I don't know, it's more of a visualization, a personification of Sparta as the great mother. you know this country, home is she, the provider, the nurture and the nourishment of everything that I know, all my people, right? All these customs, traditions, the language that we speak, the kind of a common, um, you know, ways to socially interact with one another, behaviors and mannerisms, all of it. The entire reality, brother, is held up on this foundation. You're the line. It's on you. If Sparta falls, if something happens to the country, it's because you failed as its protector. This is extremely powerful, masculine responsibility right off the bat. So what is being so deeply ingrained into these boys at such an early age is duty, responsibility, you know, brother, burden. It is the weight of, I need to be strong, and I need to be able to carry, okay, these weights and burdens of being an excellent warrior, knowing the techniques, knowing the formation, the shield formations, which is the heart and soul of the Spartan unit, as Leonidas explains it in the film. This is one of the most fascinating aspects for me personally, for why the Spartan war machine is so effective. And it is because every single Spartan soldier is on the same page. That's This is so crazy, bro, because you have to realize, why in the world would Leonidas think to come up with like on paper what seems to be an absolutely bat poop insane strategy to try? The what's his name? Xerxes. So it's King Xerxes, right? Or was it Prince? But son of Darius. This is two generations of the Persian royal lineage who think to themselves, "There's a lot of us, and there's very few of them. So let's take this. Let's just take this over." Right? I mean, it's conquest. It is imperialism. It is expansion for the sake of spreading us. You know, um, our culture, our ethnicity, our customs. And so now it's Xerxes' turn, and Homeboy shows up with 300,000 strong. 300,000. And I believe that the premise for King Leonidas' strategy, it lies, the secret, so to speak, lies within the defensive formation of the Spartan unit. This is why I say you're only going to be able to go so far by yourself. And, whether you are alone or you're with a brotherhood, purpose, responsibility, direction, struggle, pursuit, training, practicing, the attempts and the iteration, all of that is necessary for the modern male human experience. This, brother, this is our bread and butter, so to speak, for life. Okay, these are foundational pillars that you rest your entire life on. Okay, because it can be going great, it can be going smooth, or it can be really difficult, and it's actually going at times horrendously. I don't know, very slowly, or it's just really hard, or you reached a chapter in your life right now where you're just really struggling. But I want you to hear me though. That's only happening because you decided this acceptance. You have something worth struggling for. You absolutely do not have to. And on top of that, nowadays in the 21st century, no one is going to make you. If anything, it's never become this easy not to. Okay, just because the sheer amount of progress in just convenience, ease of life, and technology. You have to notice a lot of these modern male struggles today, okay, of depression, loneliness, isolation, just being alone all the time, not much human contact, right? The planet Earth has progressed far beyond, small tribes. You really have to make that intention, in these present times, to find your people. If you are not able to, then you are most likely subject to just a much harder way of life. Okay, this is what's kind of been talked about, these past few years, more and more, these plagues of the male loneliness epidemic, the male mental health crisis, just these rising, these it's alarming how sharp these statistics are rising of, you know, male self-harm and male addiction and male refusal to participate in traditional societal aspects of dating, school, employment. When you remove this idea of contribution because you know that you're needed, it is just a massive existential wound to, right, your masculinity and your identity as a man, because you and I are capable of so much, bro. This can't be denied. And so that's why I'm not saying bring back the barbarism, the blood and the brutality. I'm just noting when we have this analytical lens on Spartan culture throughout this fantastic film, on one of the just one of the it really is one of the most epic historical events of, just masculine nature. When you're looking at all of this, bro, no one is confused. Nobody wants you to really see this. It's throughout the entire film. Pick your scene. It's in all of them. Like, you could really, I believe you could easily say this from start to finish. That's quite impressive, right? For a 2-hour film. And what I'm saying is happening throughout the movie is nobody's confused. How about this? There is no Spartan soldier that is confused. There is no Spartan soldier that is soul searching. None of them are, dealing with this debilitating mental health crisis, so to speak. None of them are unsure of what their assignment is. None of them are lacking direction. None of them do not know where to go. They are all perfectly united, okay, in complete unison, okay, for both physical objective, okay, and mental union. I am a part of a whole. Every man out here, okay, on the battlefield with me, every single one of them is a brother to me, dear to me. Brother, listen, precious to me, of the utmost value to me. Do you know what that does to a man? That pulls out of him the highest kind of greatness he could ever achieve. Why? Because this matters so much more to him than the preservance of the self. This is an ideal that he is protecting and dying for that is greater than him. They all think like this, though, bro. It's not some of them, It's really remarkable how in sync they are. And this is what allows Leonidas to create the strategy that he did, which worked, which this is ridiculous, bro. If you're following me, then because of how Spartans are born and bred, and so it is their masculinity is the origin point of Greece being able to survive. one of the greatest ancient world threats of all time. Okay, truly, this the main supportive beam of it all, the backbone of this whole operation, is because Leonidas knows 300 to bro. The Greeks helped them. Historically speaking, it actually wasn't only 300 though. Like that, oh my god, that would have been freaking gnarly. That would have been so that like just absolutely mythological. Like this is superhuman stuff. Okay, no, uh, historically speaking, they were a force of about 5 to 7,000 total. 5 to 7. I mean, versus hundreds of thousands. That's still amazing, but that's how many guys were actually holding the Hawk Gates at Thermopylae, though. So 300 Spartans leading about 5 to 7,000 Greek soldiers. Okay, and the Greek soldiers, you see, this this is one of those kind of iconic. All right, it got memed like crazy, but of course you know that scene where they meet up for the first time, and the Greek soldiers are kind of like, "Yup, we heard these Persians mean business. They're almost here, and it's an unimaginable size." So these are the guys who are willing to, be out here and right defend Greece from invasion. And they look at Leonidas and they look at his 300 and they're just like, what? They're bewildered. They're like, why you brought just a small assembly. You know what I mean? Like you brought just this tiny fighting force to this massive what is this a massive a stadium of soldiers and archers and whatnot for the Persian fighting force. And Leonidas makes something very clear right off the bat. Immediately, he makes this so clear, and he does this. Of course, he does this in a very macho, Hollywood theatrical way. But it's freaking dope. And he's just like, true. There's thousands of you, and there's only 300 of us. If you don't mind, and he starts asking the Greeks, "What do you do?" You see, I don't think Leonidas was attacking, like disrespecting the way of life that a lot of these Greek soldiers were born into. I believe during this time period, it's not much of a choice, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of men, they grow up doing what their old man did. Okay, it's very generational and it's passed down. It's right as kind of the name of the game, historically speaking. And so they're answering honestly. You know, I mean, hey, one thing that you can't take away from any of the Greek soldiers is the bravery. You know, masculine responsibility. Who is not afraid? I don't. There's no way any of them are truly fearless, knowing this is impending death. This isn't a maybe. A lot of these guys understand we have to do this because Greece is all of Greece is at risk right now. So that's everything. That's like, yes, these are different Greek states, right? But it's almost like the United States of America, right? It's like there are some states that are rivals, and some states that are so far away from each other. We got 50, bro. But if there was ever a time in which some sort of invading force, okay, showed up, and it was just evident that, you're looking to attack all of the US, then right, brother, I don't, dude, and it's happened before. It's happened before in history, the world wars and other conflicts. It's just like, brother, it doesn't matter if you're from Florida or if you are from Utah, right? It does not matter if you are from Louisiana, or you are from New York. It's just, oh, no, 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 no. What? The American way of life, as nationwide, is at stake. Then yeah, I'll be there. And that's just bravery, knowing that you are most likely going to die. Okay, because you guys are comically outnumbered, and these guys are all still there. So that's fantastic. But when you're talking about effectiveness, I believe this is what Leonidas was getting at. Okay, there's levels. When you're talking about caliber, okay, when you're talking about the skill of warfare in kind of uh envisioned through a medium of art, right? Like the art of combat, okay, of mortal combat, of right, just physical warfare. He's saying you brought potters and sculptors and smiths, and it's the classic. Did hold on a second? Did Spartans actually make this war chant sound though? I would like to know. I don't know if this is Hollywood. Like the director came up with this. It's just like, look, hey, uh, this just sounds like super manly, so we're just gonna make the sound "ow." I don't know if that is like really how they actually sounded, but I dig it. It's dope. Okay, like you really got to put your chest into it, and like all together. When they all do it together, it does. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that actually does sound kind of scary. Okay, seeing like you imagine staring down all these Spartans who are just chanting "Au" at you before they run at you to kill the crap out of you, and that's how he has them answer. He just has them do one Spartan war cry. Just do the chant. And it explained everything. It was Leonidas' way of saying, this is something that you guys signed up for, and I respect it because you understand what's at stake. This is just what we do. Leonidas was saying, what where we're going, right? To meet the Persians, right? To get up close and personal, okay, with this Persian invading force. This is what that's what we are. This is the way of the blade, is the way of our life. Sacrifice, brother. You don't get that. You don't get that unless you dedicate all of yourself to it. It's incredible. It's just lifelong dedication to just something that you don't argue, you don't resist it, there's no debate, and there is no negotiation. And that is that speaks volumes for modern male success today because of what it requires from you and me, bro. It's exactly that. The the game itself has changed drastically. Okay? You know what I mean? It is not so much, okay, swords and spears and bows and impaling, right? People, what I'm saying, chopping off limbs. It is not like that anymore. It's a lot of standing desks, working from home. You know what I'm saying? Online networking. Like working with ChatGPT and Claude. It's a lot of that. But the nature of what success requires will never change. You you exercising your own individual, okay, your own individual sense of masculinity, because of course it's going to be filtered through. It's according to, just who you are, your personality, what you're about, okay, the man that you're trying to become, what you're trying to pull off for your hopes and dreams before it's all said and done. You can absolutely do that. That is not, please, brother, don't have any doubt for that. There should be absolutely no doubt there. It's just know that if that's what you want to do, there is no way that you're going to be able to without paying a price. This price is absolutely no joke. It is to be taken very seriously. Because, once again, masculine greatness is being exhibited in so many different scenes of this film. Because, again, we're seeing the fruits, we're seeing the results of all of the training and labor. Okay, right? The practice, the train, the refinement. There we go. Of everything that they know, everything that they were taught. Nothing was working. That's just nothing was working. Xerxes has one of the most exotic international fighting forces because of just all the different types of units that he's able to send out to try to crush the opposition. It's so crazy. Yeah, like basic troops, right? Right at first, it's like, oh, it's only 300 of them. We don't need any of the big guns. What? What do we got? Like 100, 200K, of just straight troops. Send them. All right, take care of this. Okay, I'm sure they'll all be dead within a few hours. Unfortunately for Xerxes, uh, of all soldiers, to be at to 300 backed by thousands, but it worked because of the core 300. Out of all soldiers to be standing there at the hot gates were Spartan soldiers. And that is why it did not work. These men, you got, oh Lord, they had like, kind of explosives, right? That they were saying is like, oh, dark magic or whatever. They had the elite fighting force, the immortals. They had just all sorts of they tried cavalry, they tried barrages from their archers, all of these different attempts to break the Spartan line. And it seems that you and I are witnessing a difference in the it's a difference in the heart and dedication. And the reason I say that is because a lot of these men are, captured. This whole force is so many different kinds of nations, tribes, countries, lands that lost to Persia, swallowed up by this great fighting force. It's kind of absorbed, and it's like, hey, clearly you're beat, die or fight for us. And so a lot of these guys were like, okay, yep, what do you mean? I'm Persian too, bro. Yeah, okay, I'm with it. And so they're there, but they're not truly for Xerxes, though. You talk about competition, you talk about winning, you talk about success. Nowadays, in the 21st century, for men, I mean, this is the sheer difference between, a guy who, right, kind of dabbles. He's in and he's out. He's not really sure. He starts and he picks it up for a bit and then he puts it back down. And he leaves it alone for a while. Guys who maybe really never get started because they're always in the I'm not sure kind of phase. I need a little bit more research. I need to understand this a little bit more first before I really attempt it myself, whatever it may be. Whatever it may be. You look at the, it's a night and day difference between a man who is just, he is just lasered, okay, because he's very single-minded on the objective. This is just what I want to do, and I'm going to do it with all of myself. That is a no-brainer. That is, I want to say that's effortless for the Spartan soldiers. Why? Because they're fighting for Leonidas. So, and they, I don't know if this is I don't know if this is more, it could be any more obvious, but they love their king, and for good reason. He's a great one. He leads them. Oh man, you love to see it. Kings who don't, like, right when it really goes down, because whatever the king says goes. Kings who do not say, I want this to happen, go. Kings who say, I need this to happen. Now follow me. They absolutely love Leonidas. And on top of that, they love each other. What do you mean? I would die for any one of these guys. It's not just my king. Okay? That it's almost like king is obvious, but my fellow Spartan warriors were all brothers. All super close. Okay? Like no real difference from brothers by blood. Like actual kin is how they see each other, and it's it's triple layered, I believe. So you got the love of the leader, right, and then you have the love of the brotherhood, and then on top of all of that, you have the love of what you are fighting for. Okay, this triple stack right here, I believe, is going to create some of the most concrete, okay, unbreakable, unwavering fuel for a man to use to achieve a certain objective. That is the Spartan war machine. That's why Leonidas made it work with just 300. Okay, I love the number, by the way. You know what I'm saying? Being a Christian, I just love the number. Like, not 100, not 200, not 400, not 500. My man picked 300. And 300 made it work because you have these unifying aspects of masculinity founded on dedication, discipline, brotherhood, strength, courage. It's just really, it's all there. All the traditional cornerstones of healthy and of Jesus Christ and God, biblical masculinity. I mean, the only pieces that are really lacking, that don't make this as comprehensive as Christian masculinity, which I personally believe is of the highest, is, of course, there's not much room here though when you're seeing them really go out there, and they are slicing and dicing. It is the Spartans are a hot knife through Persian butter. Oh my God. It's just absolutely insane. I mean, there were Spartan casualties, but they're it's like single digits. They're barely losing anyone. Okay. While right, probably fighting throughout the day. So good Lord, it's like a 9 to 5 during this conflict at Thermopylae. So, right, something like that. They probably could, you know what I'm saying? Like, everyone sleeps, so they get started in the early morning, and then are the Spartans dead yet? Did we break through yet? And it's getting to, like, you know what I'm saying, 4 or 5 p.m. And then Xerxes like, I'm calling it. I'm calling it. Clock out. We're all clocking out. We'll be back tomorrow morning, and day after day after day, and the Spartans are just not really lose. I mean, holy! If they were to lose even a third, a quarter of the force, a third of the force, something like that, it would probably be a wrap. That like they actually like they didn't, but at the same time they couldn't. That's what I'm saying. They could not. So they were only losing barely anybody, while right Xerxes was exhausting his force, sending them in over and over and over out of right frustration, pride, you know, just a kind of a hot-headedness, you know, this almost kind of like a brat, Xerxes thinking that there's just no way. I have so many more than you. There's just no freaking way. I don't believe it. No, keep trying, to the point where he had to call it. He had to call it because he understood if he keeps trying, he may very well lose everybody. The Spartans are just not budging. They're just not budging. This is probably the saddest part of the movie for me. And if that's confusing you, bro, you're kind of thinking, what? But I mean, there was so much death, and then Leonidas doesn't make it. Oh, and the captain's son, and then eventually the captain. I mean, none of them make it, right? You know, it's it's not that those deaths don't make me sad. Of course, historically speaking, and just right, just not even taking into consideration the history, that the real history that this film is from, in what was it, 480 BC. If we're focusing solely on the film of 300, oh no, of course, I'm very I'm kind of like, just my personality, I would say I'm kind of like a Disney fellow. I am a big fan of the happy endings where the good guys prevail. I just am. You call it cheesy, but it's just like, the way I grew up, I guess. And so that is absolutely not how this film works. None of them make it, but it's just, you know in terms of, oh, just deep sorrow, right, bro? Like, just, oh man, this is a tearjerker. I'm so upset that Leonidas and his mighty 300 had to pass away like this. I No, that is not how I feel. And I believe it's because we not only do um not only does the movie make sure to give us a scene in which this is explained. He literally, they talk about this, and it's explained. It's when the Greek soldier, and then he's probably one of, well, I mean, I can't say he's one of the best because they're all elite. I mean, Leonidas made sure, he was like, I need the top 300. We're all ballers, but I need the top, like, I need the best of the best. And those were the 300 that he brought. So, I mean, right? I mean, if I can make a comparison to modern American military, Leonidas basically was like, okay, I need the top 300 of our special forces. So if you could give me just the best of, he would probably take some Rangers, all right, the best of the Rangers. He'd definitely take some Marines. He would definitely take some SEALs, right? And just be like, okay, great. So these are the top 300 guys. So that's why I'm hesitant to say he was one of the best of the 300, simply because they're all so elite. They're probably similarly skilled, all right? Because they're all just, they're all just freaking beasts. But he definitely got a lot of screen time, though, right? Like, a lot of personality to this particular Spartan warrior, and it was the one who explained to the Greek soldier. He was actually also the one at the very end who was able to crawl to Leonidas before his last breath. He was able to crawl to Leonidas just so he could say, just to show, how down he is, okay, for the love of the game and his king, for king and for country. He crawled over to Leonidas to say, sir, I'm about to die. I just wanted you to know I'm just so I'm just having such a great time because I get to die next to you. I get to die with you, my king. Thank you for this honor. Oh my God, brother. If that is not just, oh, if that is not just one of the, it's just one of the most honorable and heartfelt portrayals of loyalty right there. It's fantastic. And he's the one who explains to the Greek soldier, they're watching the Persian force march towards the hot gates, getting closer and closer. The Greek soldier, rightfully so. This is very justified. I don't blame the Greek, like, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't know if this is just me, but the film does kind of, they really like spruce up the Spartans. And I get it. I get it. Oh man, these guys are all killing machines. Fair enough. I mean, the film is all about them. But I'm not going to let that take away from the bravery, the sacrifice, and the right just the masculinity of the Greek soldiers as well, because the film kind of puts them in this, like, you know what I mean, bro? Like, this is toxic masculinity right here. Like, these labels are nonsensical, but I'm sure you've heard them: alpha males, beta males. Like, they tried to make the Greeks soldiers look super beta. It's like, no, not even close. So they're both lying there and they're basically doing scouting work and just like, oh, just like carefully watching, like, honestly, like, right, just completely shocked at, right, it's just like, this never ends. Like, how many are there? This is absolutely, it really is just basically an endless fighting force. It's like the for their perspective, this is just a size no one's ever seen before. And the Greek soldier is like, this is horrifying. We're so screwed. This is more than we estimated. Oh Lord. And you're right. And he's like, he's the Greek soldier is feeling despair. He's feeling doom. He's feeling imminent disaster. Like, it just logically, oh my God, however you want to look at this, bro, analytically, spiritually, emotionally, this does not work. We like he was just like, we are so effed. The Spartan soldier, what was his reaction? This is crazy. Would you call him insane? If you do, fair. I see him. He was excuse me. He was seeing this, experiencing peace and joy. A man experiences peace and joy, I believe, in one of the most satisfying ways for the modern male human experience is peace and joy will arrive in a man's life when he is as close as possible. I want to say perfectly, but perfection is not the goal. It's just to be aligned as closely as possible to his purpose. Okay? To remember, fighting, combat, right? Warfare. Okay? War itself. That is an art and it is a way of life for Spartans. So he's experiencing peace and joy seeing this. He's smiling, laughing, explaining very, very excitedly, might I add, explaining to the Greek soldier, no, 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 no. What you don't get is that we've been waiting for this all our lives, he said. I was born and I was raised. I was trained all my life for this. He's this joy and this peace he's getting is because the challenge in front of him is impossible. this challenge, it doesn't make any sense. It's not that he disagrees with the Greek soldier. There really is no way we're gonna win, but I get to be here to try. I get to be. Listen, bro, yo, I really, I want you to get all of this because this is so important. Okay, for chasing success. All right, even in our predominantly digital game of today, he's so he's losing his mind because he's thinking, oh my God, Leonidas, my king, he picked me to be among his elite 300. So I got to be here to test exactly how good I am at what we do and who we are as my identity as a man and as a warrior and as a brother and as a soldier. There's obviously some arrogance there. Of course there is. Considering that these are the top 300, right? These are the best of the best among the Spartan fighting force. Oh, given his age, he's been in fights, right? He's you know just training, just practicing, right, with his fellow soldiers. That was back in the day. For this fellow, he's been he's fought for Sparta, right? He's probably killed countless other Greeks and whatnot, right? All those confrontations, he survived them all. He learned from them all. He reiterated from them all to and what did it all do? It made him as good as he was in that moment. It made him that strong. He's Brother, this man's excitement is born out of the fact that I am as good as I'll ever be right now. This is me at my best. This is the pinnacle of me. There's no right, he's not worried about that. There's no doubt. He's not thinking in any way. Maybe perhaps there was a time where I should have done that better. Or there's none of that, bro. There's none of that, bro. His proof is because he's still alive. Back. I mean, right? Given back in these ancient civilization times, he the proof the proof in the pudding, so to speak, is the man that walks away, the man that lives, right? Because that assumes whoever his opponent was did not make it. He did, over and over and over, so that he could be there for this moment. And so he sees the greatest challenge of his entire life, and he can't wait to take it on, even knowing it's probably going to kill him. But it's the fact that he gets to try. I really want you to see the beauty in this. For you and me, the stakes are not, it's not mortal doom. Thank Father, it's not. But you absolutely need to look at it like this, though, because at the same time, you don't know how long you have. You don't know what could happen next week, next month, whatever. Whenever you are able to push it, brother, you must push it. That's the choice. And no one can make that decision except you. Brother, only you will ever know if you are it's after work, it's a day off, you got some time. Okay, are you going to really push it? Are you really going to go for it here or not? It's the stakes, yes, the stakes drastically different. Okay. But the objective is the same. For in that scene, when the Spartan soldier was explaining to the Greek soldier, this is the best day of our lives. Isn't that so crazy? I really wanted to go deep into the psychology of this. The best day of their lives when you're all going to die. Why? Because this is what they've always wanted to die for. You might not have that right now, brother. But if you knew that's where you're headed, if you knew that's what you're working towards, to have something to die for a 21st century man, that's this is God, his wife, his kids, and then his way of life. You know, like the company, the business, and whatnot. That's a little dramatic. That's a little dramatic. I don't know. I don't know if any man should actually like die for his company. It's kind of like, okay, you know, this didn't work. Let's just sell it and do something else. You know, that's fine. But what are you really going to give all of yourself for? It would have to be these. It would have to be these treasures that a man has to hold on to. Same thing for this Spartan soldier. The only real difference is that his had just arrived, and he was acknowledging, this is going to kill me. This is going to kill me, but it's going to have to kill me though. I'm not going to lay down. I'm not going to give my life effortlessly to it. These Persians, they're going to have to take it from me. And here's, see, this is the part that I'm sure would make the Spartan smile. I am very good at defending myself. That is the Spartan way. It's what he's born into. So, bro, I just wanted to use that to show you the beauty of what purpose does to a man, of when you know what you should be doing in life. And if you don't know right now, there's nothing wrong with that. That puts you in a very exploratory position, and that's fantastic. Oh, when a guy who knows that I don't want any more of this, you know, just the life that he's currently living, I don't want any more of this, and I know for a fact, I desire a greater life and a better life, and he has no idea how, and he has no idea what to do. His next step is to think of what. That's all that is. The very next step is thinking, what could that be? And that is just you know, I remember it's like a first step, and it's an amazing moment in life, because you allow yourself to witness the sheer expansiveness and potential life really does have. Brother, it's always been there, and I believe it'll always be there. And what I'm talking about is what you can do, what you can look up, what you can watch a video on, watch a tutorial on, what you can read a book on, what you can go and attend, what you can do that is very well within your capabilities right now, bro, right now, without spending a ton of money, without doing anything crazy. You know, something within your reach right now, bro. I'm talking about right now, wherever you are. You are able to. And if you choose to, that is the beginning of a completely different life. That's if you don't know. You know, I wanted to kind of like pull this example all the way down to worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is, hey, I want yeah, oh, give me my hopes and dreams, and give me my greatness and my best life, but I have absolutely not a clue. That's what it is. And if you do know, then the name of the game becomes, will you or will you not do it? It's a yes or a no at that point. The Spartan has been saying yes his entire life. That's why he's able to be at such peace, and he's able to experience such joy at facing this absolute monstrosity. that is also, this Persian fighting force is also the greatest opponent that in his mind, he's thinking, I've ever had the luck, the fortune to meet. Because am I truly great if I only ever do combat with opposition that is less than me? Clearly, good Lord, clearly the enemy is cut out for him. Compelling, like right, overwhelming amounts of evidence. This is suicide. I'm staring at death. And he loves it because it's almost as if the art of war is to be one with death. You, you're going out there understanding this is mortal combat. This is to the death. Okay? If I win, it means because you died. If I lose, it means it's because I died. That's what this all comes down to. And it's just every single Spartan is thinking like this. And so they just win and win and win and win, bro, over and over. Okay? It it breaks Xerxes' brain. It seems he just like doesn't get it. There's just no way this should not be possible. And so he tries to strike a deal with Leonidas. This is masculine integrity. This scene is fantastic. This scene, bro, is very reminiscent of Jesus Christ in the wilderness. This is why do I say that? Because when Jesus Christ, if you don't know, he went out into the desert for 40 days in order to do a great fast for God. Fasting is just he doesn't eat. It's fasting is almost this I want to say this art of total abstinence. Okay, from really like anything and everything that the body would want. Okay, even basic nourishment. I assume he had to have done water because it's not possible as a human being to go without water for even more than a few days or something like that. But biblically speaking, I'm not sure. So whatever scripture says, that's what really happened, supernatural or not. It's just I know that besides water, nothing else. And it was during this period where he goes out into the desert and he's fasting for God, and he's completely alone for these 40 days. It's almost this rite of passage where he's just dedicating himself to God. It's at this moment that Satan himself he finds Jesus out there when he's alone in the desert, right? Tired and exhausted and right, super hungry, because he's in this great fast. This is when Satan decides to tempt him with some of the greatest offerings the devil has ever offered a mortal man. I want you to see the parallel because it's brilliant. Right? From the Christian perspective, it's absolutely fantastic. In this scene, Leonidas is given almost exactly what Jesus was also promised. So Xerxes goes, "You're good. You are very good at all of this. I'm so impressed. I don't want to kill you anymore. I am just so bedazzled by your talents that I wish to recruit you. Okay? And if you say yes to me, in the way that Satan was saying, hey, look, if you just like stop, okay, like like the devil was literally like just stop all of this, like just like stop saving people, okay, stop the movement, okay, stop this revival of Christianity, stop preaching the word and talking about God, and if you stop, okay, okay, Nazarene, if you just chill out, I will give you everything. I will give you all the kingdoms to rule. You'll have it all. Whatever this world could possibly give you, you will have. You just need to bow to me. The devil was trying to convince Jesus to switch sides, bro. That is crazy, right? Like that kind of offer, instead of like some sort of backhanded trick or whatnot, which he probably would have eventually done. Um, you know, I mean, this is the devil, but the offer itself, though, instead of oh, I'm gonna try to, okay, fine, you know what? Let's fight. All right, let's go. All right, put him up, Jesus. Okay, let's see. All right, what like besides walking on water, like let's see those hands. And instead, it's just you depart from the kingdom of heaven and you join my kingdom of darkness. But this is everything that you get. This is what you get to have. Where you were so adamant in following God, and yet God is taking all of this from you. Look at you. Look at the way that you are fasting for Father. Look at what it does to you. I don't do that. I'll give whatever your heart desires. Xerxes gives the same spiel to King Leonidas. What keeps Leonidas grounded to repel this devilish offer is very similar to Jesus Christ, though of course it is not the same, because Jesus is using biblical principle. Jesus is following the rules. Okay, this is I believe, I'm trying to use Christian language accurately here, but this is the God, no, this is the law of God's word. This is what Dad, God, this is what Dad said. This is just what it's right here. This is what he said. There's no if ands or buts. Okay, to the oh Lord, to the dismay of many, Christians, including myself. But that's the struggle. That is the struggle. It's very clear. This is how it must be. And that's the Son of Man right there. Okay. Of all people, would it not be Jesus that would be most familiar, okay, to how unbreakable God's word really is? And so for Jesus, I believe for Jesus, it was easy. The fast, him creating Lent was not easy, but saying no to Satan was. Like light work for Jesus, because Jesus is so, I mean, it is Jesus Christ, but I just want to, Jesus is so many things. I just want to speak on the man that he was, that he still is, but that he specifically was during the Great Wilderness Fast. he's so closely aligned with God that it doesn't even occur. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, these amazing offers that I think I genuinely, I mean, this is just me. This is very personal interpretation, but I genuinely believe, because when I think about it for like myself, like, oh, what if I was given these offers? These are the kinds of offers that would make any man tremble. Okay, it's why do I say that? Because this is beyond, eating good. This is beyond a yacht and a Lamborghini. This is never work a day for the rest, never work another day for the rest of your life. And most likely, your entire bloodline will never work. This is, this is, these are so, these are several existential woes being canceled out at once. Survivability is solved. Financial freedom is solved. You know, just like any kind of experience, any kind of pursuit, whatever you've always wanted to do, however you've wanted to do it, is just solved. So, you know, I believe it would only be Jesus. It would only be Jesus with, like truly zero hesitation. And of course, I acknowledge there are plenty of Christian men out there that would absolutely, right. They would meet my challenge head on, and that's awesome. That's just that kind of confidence just comes from how much they love dad. But that's just, that's just my personal interpretation. What I'm saying is, bottom line, it takes some serious alignment to to. Oh Lord, I feel like Jesus was like, can it's been a really long fast. Can you just come on? Can you it's like, just give me some peace, please? Okay, I haven't seen food in weeks. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I really do not believe Jesus was like, oh, ooh, all the women. I see. Oh, goodness gracious. Tell me exactly how many kingdoms. No, this is what I mean. This is what I mean by effortless for mortal men, like you and me. I think these are the kind of offers that really make a man tremble. Leonidas did not. Leonidas, okay, it was also very easy for him. It was also very effortless. He in the way that I kind of joked about it, he did too. He actually did in the scene. What did he say? He goes, "Wow, wow, oh my, all my Athenian rivals bowing to me, and you know what I'm saying? No, greatest warlord of Greece, brother. That sounds heckin' dope. One problem: I've been killing so many of your men all day long that I've developed a cramp in my knee." And so just because Xerxes, he has such an emphasis on domination. He has such an emphasis on full submission. I don't want to just hear you say you're for me. You must always be, in prostration, kneeling, right? Revering me as the God King. You right? You want to talk about? I mean, this is a man impersonating that. I can't. That part I can't. And what he's really saying right here, Leonidas is basically saying, you are so mistaken. You are such a fool. See, this is what I believe Jesus was saying to the devil, right? That's why these offers were nothing to Jesus, because Jesus is saying, what do you Jesus is almost, without saying it, the implication is marvelous, because the implications are, do you not know, like, how, who God is? Okay, how infinitely beyond Father is, okay, than any of this. You are, because the devil is simply not able to go past what is available to him. And what's available to the devil is whatever is on earth. So Jesus is saying, you are pushing to the maximum of what desire can be, in a worldly way. If you only knew that God is infinite, though. God makes the greatest expanse of what a man could have on earth a speck of nothing. It's nothing. When you are putting it up, uh, against God's glory, His love, His deep, intimate, sincere, and considerate care for every human soul. That's why, like, for Jesus, it's like you are out of your mind if you are even dreaming that you could possibly come up with a temptation that would be anything close to what God is able to provide for one of His children. It's I So much of what, everything Jesus did was just, fantastic. But his time in the wilderness, Jesus' 40 days in the desert, just resonates with me so deep. Like, it's just, and um, that's just like the makeup of my personality in my own worldview. But it just hits me deep. It just hits me really deep. It just resonates so deeply. Such great temptation. And Jesus, who has he has the clearest understanding of who and what God really is. It's effortless. It's effortless. It's just, oh my God, stop. Like, like Jesus was like, I want to, what I'm saying, save you some breath. You know what I mean? Okay, you out here roaming around and whatnot. Just you keep it roaming. You keep it roaming. I really just want to get back to my fast. Right? Jesus did not. Jesus was very diplomatic, actually, and just used the word. But my personal interpretation is, it's so belittling. It is so belittling of how great these temptations and desires are. In the same way, for Leonidas, Xerxes' offers and gifts, as great as they are, mean nothing to a man who is so aligned with his principles. It There's nothing it's non-negotiable. You can't bargain this. It's not possible. You cannot bargain the love that I have for my country and my men, my wife and my son. For the simple fact that I woke up today as Leonidas, and last I checked, I am the king of Sparta. That that doesn't mean I prance around with the crown. That means I have an obligation and a duty to fulfill, to protect my people, to keep and preserve my home and the Spartan way of life, because that is who and what I am. You're not going to be able to give me something that is going to replace why I exist as a human being. Brother, this is why knowing who you are in life, what it is that you truly do, like, all right, being able to define the meaning of your existence and your own way of life. Brother, where are you going? What are you trying to do? All of this ties into purpose in life, and it means everything for a man. I believe it's what matures and it blooms a man's masculinity. And it doesn't, and do not, I don't want you to think because because the deep dive for tonight is the film 300. But this doesn't mean for your life, bro, you'd have to embody a warrior king. It's embodying who you truly are. That's worth everything, brother. That's worth the time. It's worth the effort. It's worth the sacrifice. It's worth the discipline to find out, to see, and to witness who you truly are. Because who you truly are is how you're able to live wonderfully for the rest of your life. You are not so easily shaken, tempted, lulled by evil. Contrast that with Ephialtes, the traitor. He was the physically deformed Spartan soldier, and he kind of, grew up in the woods alone. Very tragic backstory, okay? But what he did was nothing short of very malicious evil. It was born out of bitterness and resentment. That the vision he had for himself just was not, it couldn't happen in the way that he wanted it to happen. He absolutely could have helped, contributed. He could have been a positive addition to the fighting force, but just not the way that he wanted to. He wanted to shed blood. He wanted to be in actual combat. And it wasn't even that he was bad at it. Did you see the thrusts, bro? My man was nice. Leonidas taught him immediately. He was like, oh, your dad, when you were a kid, he should have taught you how our phalanx works. Head to toe, Ephialtes. The shield must cover head to toe. If there is even one breakage in the entire unit, we all die. That is so hardcore. That is such a clear expression of the burden every single Spartan soldier understands, it's driven into his heart, right, from such a young age. But this is why. If any of you get tired, if any of you drop your shield, you won't be putting yourself, it's not just you at risk. We all might die. Because that's why the unit is impenetrable, because they're all holding it perfectly. When one goes, then he falls, and then there's a weak point now, and if it's exposed for too long, well, right, brother, it's this horrible ripple effect. Then another Spartan falls, and then another falls, and then another, and then they all fall. This is when a man is faced with the realization, my best masculinity is not going to be the masculinity I envision. And so instead of being able to accept this, right? Like my purpose is as a different kind of assistance to the Spartan fighting force. He falls prey, right, to a man's nature of the bitterness, the resentment, the cowardice. right? Just not being able to, that takes, it takes so much inner work. It takes so much emotional maturity. Okay. I understand that Ephialtes, that was an identity crisis right there. He trained his entire life for that moment, right? Just to see, wow, I came up short. But what he did is unforgivable in this way. Essentially, he is the reason that he seals Leonidas and his other 300 brothers, if he would call them that. He sealed their fate with this one move, by giving Xerxes that crucial piece of intel. There's a shortcut. There's a hidden passageway, and it goes right behind them. So if you take it, you'll have them surrounded, and no more, no more Leonidas and his mighty 300. This hit me so deep when Leonidas, at the very end, Ephialtes, right, steps up, and here's what's so interesting. You see him dressed in the robes. You see him with all the embroidered jewelry. Xerxes dripped him out. Xerxes absolutely dripped this man out. And yet, how does he look when he steps on, right? Contrast that with the peace and joy of the Spartan soldier explaining to the Greek soldier, what we're witnessing is my purpose. Really contrast that. How is this possible? Why does Ephialtes look like this? You have all the money, all the women, you have all your desires. Xerxes is so powerful, he can give you whatever you want, right? Up to right, those ancient Greek standards. For you and me, I believe that's the equivalent of, like, you wake up tomorrow as a millionaire. And he is, brother, he's racked with guilt. He can barely look at Leonidas. He knows exactly what he did. So, right? That his conscience is attacking him. So he leaps out, and he's just like, in a kind of a last ditch effort, Leonidas, hey, just do what he tells you to do. Just do what he tells you to do. Look at me. And Leonidas, he says, I hope you live forever. That's it. Leonidas is right. He's so upset. If Leonidas had the opportunity, what he would have done to Ephialtes. Oh my God, right? All of his men, his captain, all of his brothers, his actual brothers, right? And like the implications of, for Sparta, like, obviously, like, oh my God, you're getting me killed, like my own life. But I don't even think, right? Knowing Leonidas, I don't even think that was a priority. The priority is like, I'm not going to be there for my wife and my son. You freaking dingleberry. What he would have done to him. But of course, he didn't have that luxury because Xerxes is about to kill all of them. And so he just says, I hope you live forever. I hope you will always know the pain of this guilt. That's what I wish upon you. That you could have possibly done that. You thought of doing this to us. And they go down in the mightiest way possible, man. It's so epic. It's the bleed out. You know that meme? I think it went viral not too long ago, recently on TikTok. Like, men just thinking of, what is truly the best bleed out spot? This masculine urge to be, right, to die somewhere dramatically, for a cause, allowing your family to escape, protecting innocence, being there for a turning point of some kind of war to protect, the US, if you're American, or wherever your home country is. That was it. This is one of the most epic bleed out spot scenes, really, in really all like military masculine films. They really go down, just all the way, all the way. There was no one ran, no one changed their minds. They all fought to the bitter end, and Leonidas dies with one last spear throw. He passes with one more Spartan spear, leaving his fingertips. And it would be this spear to show Xerxes how human he really is. He truly is. Underneath all of that bravado, underneath all of that God complex, all of that narcissism, all of this dictatorship and tyranny. He is absolute power. And I was taught this one, corrupts absolutely. Xerxes is the walking embodiment of this. Okay? And so he really does believe his poop, it's not that his poop doesn't stink, it's that it can't. At that level, it cannot stink. Oh, it is of the most flowery scent. I am a god king. I am divine. I am to be deified. And yet he bleeds, right? What is it like right here? Oh, you bleed just like us. Like any other man, like any other human being, like any other animal. You bleed. And it's awesome because, I remember seeing this film with some friends, and I had some buddies just be like, "Oh, if it could have just killed him, if it could have just killed, or done more damage, like if he could have just like maybe like lost an arm or something." And it's like, well, I think it's really just to show that underneath this, you are desperately trying to project this flawless persona, but it's fake. It's fake. You're just as fragile. You can be just as easily cut as anybody. So-called God King. And that was the last effort from Leonidas. I love it. I love it not only because of that, but because I believe that spear throw was an extension. It was one more. Okay, as if Leonidas, not just a spear, a torch, right? That he's throwing into the future. Into the future. My brothers, my men, my kinsmen, right at home, the entire Spartan army, okay? That if not for the right politics, right? I know the film, this is supposed to be like kind of mythologically, like, right? Like, right? There's some mythology, there's some fable there, and there's some like historical accuracy there. But the E-Force, oh my god! If the E-Force does not remind you of a particular island that is trending on news today, okay, I don't want this episode to get shadowed, so I'll just say the island, okay. Oh god, bro, it's like these guys are just freaking gross, and they're the dudes that get to call the shots, and it's, you know what I mean, like that would, it's pretty, because this film was 2008, this film was 2008, so this is about 20 years later, and you know what I mean, bro, like still just as prevalent. Because if not for that, if not for laws and rules and regulations, they all would have been there. They all would have fought for Leonidas, but they couldn't be there. Leonidas could only take 300. So it was as if the spear was a call. This is the last one. Okay, boys. I'm headed out. I'm not making it back. This is the last one I'm gonna throw. Okay. I'm gonna cut him. I'm gonna cut him here. I need you guys to finish it. I need you guys to defeat him. and push them back and get them out of Greece. And that's exactly what they do. That's exactly what they do, and it's freaking fantastic. He sends I always call him Boromir. I can't remember his real life name. I just know him dearly as Boromir from the Lord of the Rings. But it's that fellow. He's the only one that he's 299 don't make it. He's the only one who makes it because Leonidas was like, hey, like you're great at fighting, but you're great at talking too. So I need you go back and tell them everything. Tell them exactly what happened here. He does. And he says it in front of thousands and thousands of Spartans, in front of tens of thousands of free Greek soldiers. And that's how they do it. That's actually how they do it. Greece unites after the efforts of Thermopylae. Thermopylae, historically speaking, the Greeks is so epic. They unite and they gain ground, and they basically achieve enough victories that it's not that they vanquish this fighting force of 300,000. It's that Xerxes leaves. Xerxes like, you know what, like right, like freaking spoil the brat. F you guys. Okay. You haven't like I don't know, typical freaking villain trope. You haven't seen the last of me, and hightails it out of there. And Greece rejoices. It's so crazy. This is why, right? Is this makes sense, right? And this is why the world gets to have a Greece today. You think about all of that incredibly rich Greek culture, and all of the knowledge that was added to collective wisdom of the world. So much, right, was preserved, right? This many generations down the line, we remember the story of Leonidas and his mighty 300 in exactly the way that he said. Because these kinds of efforts, they last throughout time. Because it's just very rare. It's so rare because it takes so much courage. It takes so much sacrifice. It takes so much acceptance of burden and responsibility. Okay? It takes the very best of men to be so few and stand against so many. I love it. That's exactly what Leonidas said. That's what they'll remember. Oh, way far into the future. Like right now, brother, 480 BC to 2026. How freaking crazy is that, dude? This is the time that you and I are alive for. And we would be able to have this conversation to learn from the type of masculinity that is necessary, the most healthy, that I believe, when biblically aligned, this is divine masculinity. And if you heard me say all of that and you have not yet seen the film 300, please, brother, by all means, you got to watch this movie and allow it to really energize you, okay? And allow it to motivate you to really go after with, more zeal and more enthusiasm the things that you want to do in life. And if you still need some more help after that, I'll be right here at the Pillars of Man podcast. That's what I do. I talk about God, anime, and movies to help you with your life. And if you like content like that, you hit the subscribe button for me. And if you're listening on Spotify, you follow me on there. Wherever you find this, brother, you shoot me a follow because I'd love to catch you for the next one. But until then, take it easy. Take good care of yourself. And I love you so much. Peace.